Hi, my powerful one, Lenka Lutonska here, founder of Business Energetics Academy, and we're going to talk about one tricky topic, but the one we've got to talk about, and that is the alchemy of struggle. Struggle. I mean, who likes that word? Nobody. Who talks about struggle? Struggles? Nobody. We've got to talk about it. If you are here because you want to grow your business with greater ease, if you are here because you feel inside you have a big job in the world, as in you're meant to make extraordinary difference, not just in your own life, but in the lives of many people, we've got to talk about struggle alchemy. I'll be honest, this particular video has been inspired by one of you, where you asked in the comments something like, Lenka, I believe in business energetics and I want to create, I have deep desire in my heart to create a wildly successful business that helps many people. But how do I get over this vicious cycle of being single mom and my husband or ex-husband left a lot of debt? How do I get out of this vicious cycle? So struggle, struggle, struggle. And I will tell you what, even though I am not a single mom, even though my husband didn't leave me or didn't pass away or leave me with a debt, I have my own history of struggle, as probably you have in some shape or form. And immediately it took me into that place of deep compassion and deep, you can do something with it. Because here's the thing when it comes to energy of struggle. Yes, the energy of it is very dense. Therefore, vast majority of creators are stuck in the loop of struggle for years and years and years. And there is a very small percentage of creators who turn this struggle into their legacies, who turn this struggle into millions in impact and abundance that you didn't even dream of. So this is what this video is going to be about: alchemizing the struggle and turning any energy of hardship, struggle, even helplessness into sovereignty and the level of success, abundance, and impact that you cannot even dream about. Okay? Let's do this. So what I want to give you today is 5 principles, or if you like, 5 codes, things to consider that will absolutely help you to turn struggle into sovereignty and power and abundance. I know it helped me when I found myself in the lowest point in my life, and it turned my struggle into what it is today, a dream, and it will help you. So these are the 5 things. What you do with that, of course, is up to you, but I'm giving them to you from my heart to yours. Okay? So, Struggle Alchemy Code number 1. Struggle is not a circumstance. It's an energetic identity. Whew. Hard stuff. This is even hard to say because it's a truth telling you'll need to hear. But hear me out again. Struggle is not a circumstance. It's an energetic identity. And you've got to treat it as such, meaning what makes you struggle is a certain circumstance, and it might be ugly, such as divorce, such as tragedy, such as loss. Yes, those are the circumstances, but a struggle is who you are in that experience, is not the experience itself. So for instance, when I go back approximately a decade, when I was in 2 years of struggling financially, emotionally, identity-wise, because I was robbed of my first business and my business was bankrupt and brought to the ground. It's not the experience itself that a psychopath robbed me of my business. That was an experience. But who I was throughout that period in those 2 years, that is the struggle. Because who I was for those 2 years was, number 1, poor me. How did this happen to me? I am pissed off. I am so upset. I am a victim. It happened to me. If it just didn't happen to me, if that asshole didn't rob me of my beloved business, where could I be today? How can I get that business back so I can be abundant or impactful as I want? And so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Now hear me out as you need to hear this. If you are in a struggle mode in any way, you need to hear this. It's not the circumstance that is creating the struggle, is who you identify yourself to be in that experience, in that circumstance. Because the circumstance itself, the experience itself, as ugly packaging as it might have, I guarantee you, if you're open to it, you will find out that it's there to actually help you sculpt the legacy out of your business and life. Something that you can't possibly even dream about now. So you've got to ask yourself, who am I being in this experience? So for me, again, when I take myself back, I had to admit to myself, I know I'm being a victim. I know I'm a woman who is in lack, as in I am lack. I was experiencing financial struggle, so I just saw it everywhere. I am a woman who feels this is unfair, and so forth. So you've got to identify the identity of that struggle. Basically, struggler identity or lack identity or whatever identity is there. Name it and you'll start breaking the cycle. Name it and you will start taking yourself out of the trance, out of that unconsciousness. Okay? It's hard to hear, but you've got to hear it. Okay? So that's the code number 1. And before we continue, I would love to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Business Energetics Academy. Because honestly, what else would it be? Because it's Business Energetics Academy where business beyond logic, where wild wealth beyond limits, where limitless success beyond strategy, and where fulfillment beyond measure don't just become possible. They become inevitable. And so if you're watching this and thinking, hey, I want to grow my business from this place and I want to be a co-architect of this new global paradigm in the world, well, you're already being called into the field of Business Energetics Academy. The link is below this video and you will know if it's for you. And for now, let's continue with the magic, shall we? Struggle Alchemy Code number 2. Break struggle just like you would break addiction. Yes, the identity of struggle, the energy of struggle is very, very addictive. It's all prevalent to your physical senses. Let's say if you're living in a deep lack, all you see is lack. If, let's say, you are in a horrible relationship, all you see and hear is drama, disrespect, pain, and so forth and so forth. So struggle is all prevalent to your senses. It's very familiar to your nervous system. It's very familiar to your subconscious mind. And over time, your nervous system will get addicted to the struggle. Your nervous system can get addicted to anything and it will get addicted to the energy of struggle. So you've got to treat it as such. You've got to break the cycle just like you would break addiction. Meaning there is no leaning off. Meaning there is no, oh, let me just ease out of this struggle. There is no easing out of this struggle. There is one of full energetic rupture and stepping from old to new, stepping from addiction to the struggle to the exact opposite identity. So it's a one-off experience. I have to go on one of my examples how I broke addiction, and that is addiction to nicotine. So for decades, I would be smoking nicotine, and from one day to another, I stopped, and I stopped very, very easily. Why? Because first I saw the nicotine and for what it is. I saw that it's addiction. I stopped believing the stories that I was telling myself, yes, about the smoking, how I enjoy smoking and so forth. And from one day to another, from one moment, in fact, to another, I told myself, this is what I'm leaving behind, the identity of smoker. I'm leaving the smell in my hair. I'm leaving the unhealthy lungs. I'm leaving the fear that I might get seriously sick, blah, blah, blah. This is the identity I'm leaving behind. And this is identity I'm stepping into. I'm stepping into identity and timeline of non-smoker. I've wrote it all down. I made it a ceremonial, as in I really noticed around me because I knew I'm changing my life today in this moment. And I did that. And it was very remarkably easy, or much easier than I thought, this transition from smoker to non-smoker, because it wasn't weaving off, it wasn't nothing like it. It was simply stepping from one identity to another as a powerful one-off energetic rupture. And you've got to do that with the struggle too, with identity of struggle. You've got to step out of it once and be out of it full stop. Which leads me to the third Struggle Alchemy Code, and that is claim the opposite field and identity, no matter how unrealistic it may feel right now. Because here's the thing, underneath the harshest struggle, underneath the trauma, there always is a polarity of the opposite of what is available to you. There is, energetically speaking, there is not either this or that. Energetically speaking, it's all aspect of one polarity. It's almost like degrees of one energy. So if you go to struggle and then less struggle and less struggle, less struggle, less struggle, so you'll go into more what? Ease and love, or whatever you might call the opposite of struggle, but you'll go into greater and greater degree of that. All of that is available to you. All of that is in you, but you've got to open yourself up to it. So here's the thing. It doesn't matter where you're struggling, how you're struggling right now. I want you to go beyond the limits of your logical mind for a moment, or for 2 moments, or for 3, and I want you to consider, if anything was possible for me, what would be the exact opposite of this, and how would I want to live my life? How would I want to run my business? What is in there? Identify again that identity of that opposite and claim it. So let's say it would be, I am the woman or creator or a visionary or a man who turns nothing into millions. Maybe that's that identity. Or I am the one who turns pressure into diamonds. Or I am the one who deserves to be loved and who is deeply loved. If that's the struggle, you're experiencing struggle in that department. So identify what is that opposite. Open your mind, open your heart. Let yourself be driven by that authentic desire, no matter how unrealistic it feels, and claim the opposite. This is who I am. This is the identity I'm stepping into and the timeline I'm stepping into. I'm getting devoted to this level of identity. So therefore, it will help you to apply the fourth Struggle Alchemy Code, and that is turning the old story into a strategy for revealing your highest self. Yes, because as I said somewhere towards the beginning, if you're willing to look, that greatest level of struggle will have in it exactly that strategy and gift and necessity. Why? That will help you to turn yourself and your life and business into something that you cannot even dream about, into your highest expression of success and abundance and impact and all that you are desiring. I know that my own struggle of going through this hardship and lack and who am I and anger and victimhood and struggle for 2 solid years. When I woke up and when I applied these codes like I'm suggesting you apply them, it turned my life and business into something that I was not even capable of dreaming about. And that's going to happen to you too, but what you can do now and what you need to do now is to start looking actively for that potential gift. So I remember when I was in the thick of this experience still, when there was lack, I didn't have a clients because my business disappeared and all of this. So there was no clients. How am I going to pay for the bills for the next month and so forth? There was circumstance that was still wrapped in a lots of lack, but I started to open myself up to this idea. What is all of this? I self-manifested, or my soul self-manifested to prepare me for the best. What is that best going to be? What is that purpose of this experience? What is this experience initiated me into? And I realized that because of this experience, potentially at the time, this is the thing, you've got to mind it, because you can't see that future physically, you just may sense it or feel it, what it might be, that purpose. So I was telling myself that, you know what, this experience really initiated me into my spiritual self, into the depths of my spiritual self, and connecting that with a strategy. And that's life-changing. And it turned out to be life-changing. That actually, not just for me, but for thousands, tens of thousands of others, because that really was the basis of business energetics. So that's just one thing, that it initiated me into my depths of my spiritual self and connecting the spirit and the strategy, if you like. There was more though. And I started to get this intuitive understanding that I'm actually living the real pain and struggles of new entrepreneurs. I mean, I experienced and re-experienced it all, how difficult it is to really want so badly to create a success and ease and abundance and impact in other people's lives. But no matter what you do, it's not happening. I experienced it very, very deeply. Therefore, I could teach from the place of deep embodiment, because I found a way how to turn this into success. Therefore, I can support tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people through the lens of deep embodiment, not just theory, you see? So it was helping me to be connected to the pains and realities of entrepreneurship, and be able to be of a highest service to those that love entrepreneurship as a creative outlet for the soul, and as the thing through which you can live your best life. And there was more, but the point is, I was looking, and here is the invitation for you to look to. In other words, turn that story into strategy for revealing your highest self. What is that purpose of that experience? And keep reminding yourself that. And what have you been initiated into through this experience? Keep reminding yourself of that, okay? And finally, here is the Struggle Alchemy code number 5, and that is choose devotion over drama. What I mean by that is this: drama shouts. The energy of drama is in your face. Sovereignty and power whispers. And you've got to be quiet to become her, the full sovereign woman or man that dramatically changed not just her own life, but lives of many. And this quietness and choosing devotion over drama means leaning into responsibility over reactivity. Meaning, if you got in your life, let's say, drama, instead of reacting, or noticing, oh my God, that's not working, create that space, create that responsibility. So don't immediately go, oh my God, how do I get out of this? Oh my goodness, he shouts at me, so I'm going to shout back. Reactivity. Create that space, create that awareness where you can slow down, and in that quietness, you can choose your responsibility. And you can respond more and more as the one who is on the opposite of that struggle, as the one who chooses a sovereignty, as the one who chooses her or his power. In spite of the fact that you hear drama or witness drama, no. I'm going to witness this drama as the powerful woman or man or creator I am. You see? This is essentially where you will practice your awareness. And it's through this where you will devote and continually will be devoting to your higher version of self, the opposite of the struggler identity. And you will be making more choices, more evaluations, creating more stories based on that higher identity, higher level identity rather than struggler identity. And that will change your life. This is where you might devote yourself again and again to that. I'm not struggling, even though I still can see the struggle, I'm not that anymore. I am, and whatever that higher self is, that's who I am. And this is how I will decide. And this is how I will look at the situation or circumstance or the whole thing. This is how I will move forward. Yes, again, this will put you in front of some thresholds, meaning at some points that higher level identity, the opposite of struggle identity, will ask you to make hard choices, will ask you to make uncomfortable choices, will ask you to make courageous choices, will ask you to bet on yourself. It will ask you to actually really not just believe that you can be the opposite, but to be the opposite, to embody the opposite. So yes, all of that will be required of you, but you will do it, because if you keep devoting yourself over and over again to that who you're meant to be, over struggle, over the dense energy of struggle, you will win. So those are my 5 codes that I believe have got ability to turn any level of struggle into incredible success and even legacies. I hope you took out of this what you need to and you're going to apply. I will love to hear that in the comments. And if you know one person who needs to hear this, somebody who you care about and find things hard, please send them this video to watch. You just don't know how you can change their lives. When I go back to my 2 years of struggling badly after the loss of my first business and with children and not having means to look after them or to even feel that I'm any decent mother, it was one friend and one comment of friend that said, Lenka, you keep telling yourself this story over and over again. I'm getting tired of it. How poor you know, that he destroyed your business. Are you not tired of that story as well? I'm rewrite that story. She was just very honest with me, you see. And that comment, if I'm not tired of that story that was, yes, a bit pinch in my butt, so to speak, but that got me to really start identifying who am I in this struggle and starting to make a powerful change. That got me to apply these 5 Struggle Alchemy Codes and turn it into the greatest success of my life. And it's happening. Gift keeps on giving. So you don't know what gifts are there in the struggle. So please apply these codes yourself, but also send this video to one person you care about. Let them watch it. And let's transmute those struggles into shit ton of abundance, income, impact, love, and freedom that you are meant to live. All right? With so much love for now for you and your vision. I'll see you next time.